What's up, guys? It's your boy Palacio,
It's the boy Eli.
and this is episode 1 of Palacio and Santana movie reviews. We are reviewing Ant-Man Quantumania.
Oh, my Lanta.
First initial thoughts. Hold on. I'd like to say that the first, let's say like 2 minutes, I'll put the timestamp here, but first 2 minutes is going to be non-spoilers, and then after we will let you know when we're going to do some spoilers.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it yet, just listen until we get to the spoiler, and then you can stop it if you want to watch it, or if you want to just listen to what we have to say, then just keep going. But you've been warned, just so you know. So
Warned.
yeah. So without spoilers, what'd you think of the movie?
I thought it had a lot of potential. It looked really good. It was one of the best looking Marvel movies we got in a while. It looked really
Visually,
good.
right?
Visually.
Yes.
Visually, it was amazing. It was beautiful. It was pleasing. CGI was on point. It was everything. But the dialogue.
Yes. That is one of the big problems that I had. It's like nobody talks like this.
No,
it was super cringy.
Corny. It
corny.
felt forced.
They had some good like one-liners in there. I think Paul Rudd, he does a lot of like just kind of lighten the mood with what he says.
Like it was funny.
Like cracking jokes, but the dialogue as a whole, so whoever wrote the script obviously doesn't talk like a human being. It's just weird. Even in the first like 10-15 minutes, you can tell that it's like this is weird.
It felt forced. A lot of it felt like kind of forced. I don't know. It was just
when I feel like when a script is really good, it allows the actors to. It kind of puts it on easy mode for the actors because they can interpret it how they want. But it's like, how can you get great acting from bad writing? You can only do so much.
Yeah, definitely.
In the words of Eli, it was mid.
That shit was so mid.
It was the most mid movie. I'll say 6 out of 10. If we're doing 6 out of 10, maybe 6.5 out of 10.
I wanted to like it so bad.
I did too. I've been looking forward to this movie because it kind of sets off the next movies, like
the next phase of
the Avengers, Kang Dynasty and everything going on, secret invasions and stuff. And it's supposed to be like an introduction to that going on, but it's just like have you ever seen have you seen the other 2 Ant-Man movies?
The anime movies?
No, Ant-Man,
Ant-Man?
1 and 2.
Bits and pieces, but not like fully.
It is exactly like the first movie where it's worth watching and I'll never watch it again. The second movie, the most mid-plain, stale cracker thing you've ever seen. And if you watch it, that's cool. And if you don't watch it, you don't have to. And if it never existed, it's still like it's not there. And then this movie, it was just like every other Ant-Man movie in scope of Avengers movies.
Mm-hmm.
The most basic mid-level thing. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just there. It exists.
It could have the potential that it left bothers me.
Yes.
And I really don't feel that way a lot about movies. Normally when I watch a movie, it's like, oh, that was cool. I enjoyed it, whatever. Like most Marvel movies, I feel that way. Like I know a lot of people had a lot of problems with Doctor Strange, the
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. I thought it was solid. It was cool. It was different from a lot of Marvel movies that we've gotten.
Okay.
But this one, it was just corny. Are we good? Are we good? Like we can spoil stuff now because I have like the biggest issue.
Okay, so we're doing spoilers now. If you listen to this point, spoiler free, appreciate it. If you don't want us to ruin the movie, go ahead and stop right now and then come back once you've watched it. So you've been warned.
Yeah.
So spoilers now. Go ahead.
All right. So like my biggest part, like what like took it over the top for me was when Cassie and MODOK had their little fight. The dialogue for that fight was so ass.
Yeah.
It was just way too family friendly. And I think that is the biggest issue. Like it is like just I don't know the way the dialogue was set up, how they delivered it. It was just corny.
I mean, what can I say? So so whenever I review movies, as a rule, because Avengers movies, Marvel movies, comic book movies, whatever you want to call it, I put them in a completely separate category from films because you can't really. It's not about making a movie that's worth watching. Almost Marvel has made their own piece in film now that like comic book movies and everything else are completely other genres. So I base my opinion on how they are based on what other movies that Marvel has put out because it's Disney.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that this movie compared to like The Departed or The Godfather. I mean,
Yeah.
it's completely different levels. So I try to be as open-minded as I can. Like a good Marvel movie is not the same as a good movie.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Like,
two completely different things.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's two completely different things. And if I was to rank them the same, every Marvel movie would be down here because it's not really like Marvel movies as a whole as like an art form. Like I love film. I love everything about movies, dialogue, script, casting, editing, everything. I really love film. But when I look at it, you can't really look at it as terms of art. It's more like they're telling a story and what they want through film. So it's almost like comic books coming to life, not film.
Yeah.
So that being said, this movie was exactly what we've been saying. It has potential, and I really wanted to like it. And I try not to go into a movie not wanting to like it, but it's just like it wasn't a waste of time, but it's like I could have went my entire life without watching this and watched the next Avengers film, and it wouldn't really have mattered. They could catch up with a 5-minute movie review,
Yeah.
like on when you watch like a Netflix series or something like that, and they do like a recap.
Yeah.
That's what this entire movie felt like. They could have introduced Kang the way they wanted, the whole cast, the new cast, even if they want to include more people, in 30 seconds. And it would have been the exact same. Runtime, I think that it was a little too long because there's some things that I feel like they could have skipped, like the whole thing with Bill Murray, completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
He shows up for 10 minutes, then he's not seen for the rest of the film. And it's just like, oh, old love interest. And it's like 20, 25 minutes of the movie where they could have cut it, and it was just super unnecessary. I think introducing Kang, the first couple of minutes of the film was okay. Like, you kind of have a backstory of why she trusted him and she saved his life, or he saved her life and all that. That was okay. I think the casting, if you watch Avengers Endgame, you'll notice that Cassie, Paul Rudd's daughter, Ant-Man's daughter, is a different woman. Based on the like 1 minute, 1.5 minutes that we saw the old Cassie in Avengers Endgame, when she meets her dad, she thought he was dead. She thought he got snapped, and then she's old. It's a very emotional connection, very, very fast. Like, he sees her grown up, he gets all emotional, she gets emotional, and you believe it. I think that the actress who portrayed Cassie here fits in perfectly with this film, as mid as fuck. She is a mid actress. She's somebody's daughter. I haven't looked it up, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's some famous person or director or producer's daughter. And that's not, I'm not trying to be mean about it, but like, her acting is like the most basic, boring. Like, it didn't bring anything to the film.
No.
What the other actress did in that 1 minute made me feel an emotional connection. I understand it's like emotional, but she had an entire film to do that and make us feel for her as an actress and as a character, and I just didn't care at all.
It was like a very snobby teenager.
Yeah, it was. And if that's fine, if that's what you're playing, like, she was like an activist or whatever, but like, I didn't care at all.
It felt like kind of forced.
Yes,
like, why
absolutely.
is this necessary?
I think that was wrong decision from the studio to recast her. Like you said, CGI was incredible. They have this whole different world, and Disney does an amazing job at world building, whether it's Star Wars, introducing all that other stuff, the films, the TV series, Mandalorian and all that. Then they have the Marvel movies, and even just like Moana, or just like any film that they make when it has to do with an entirely different thing, they are amazing at building worlds. And
the whole Quantum Realm was beautiful.
I am glad that they did the CGI like this, because it seems like the people who were in charge of FX did an incredible job, but they had the time to do it. Like, if you see the She-Hulk, aside from, again, the dialogue being ass and the whole series just being trash, you can see the CGI is not good. And this had 90% to do with CGI, like 95% to do with CGI, and it works. I mean, you believe you're in that world, you believe you see it. And hats off to the VFX team, because they did an incredible job with this.
Shout out to y'all.
The actor, I can't remember his name at this exact time, but the actor who played Kang, incredible.
Yeah, he was good.
Did such a amazing performance.
He was good.
He was in like a movie that came out about African American fighter pilot. He did great in that. I think it was Devotion or something like that. And then he plays in the new Creed movie. He's the bad guy in that, just based on the trailers. Like, it's incredible. He's an incredible actor.
Yeah.
And you can see in his level of professionalism and what he plays as an actor. And then, like I said, Cassie. It's just, it's almost not fair to compare the two because she's so young.
Yeah.
And he's late 30s, I think. So he's obviously had time to develop his craft, but that is an actor. That isn't a person who acts. You believe that he's Kang the entire time. And one of the things that he plays is his pauses. If you look and go back and watch this film, which I don't recommend you do because you don't need to. But if you look at it, when he talks, he takes that extra second to pause and give his lines. And you can sense that he's this powerful figure, and he just portrays it. And when he talks very slow, but it's meaningful and it's direct.
Yeah. And
there's a million different ways that you could have said one or two pieces of dialogue, but he executes it so well. He's gonna be a great villain. And the fact that they have like the
whole multiverse of him.
Yes, I think that having someone who knows how to handle all those different personalities and play those things differently, I think that they made an excellent choice casting him as Kang.
Yeah.
He
was definitely a highlight of the film.
Yes.
Definitely a highlight of the film.
What wasn't is MODOK. Do you want to take that one over? I mean, I will say one good thing. MODOK in the comics is a goofy ass character. He looks like, what did you say he looks like?
Like the Spy Kid, like George Lopez.
He looks like, yeah, no, it wasn't Spy Kids. It was
Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl. If you know, you know.
But it just looks so cheesy. Like, it just looked cheesy.
Yes.
It looked very kid. I understand it's a superhero movie. It's Marvel. It's Disney. But it just looks super, super kid friendly. Like, that's not something. It just looked corny to me. The whole like wide face and everything.
Well, that's how he looks in the film. And I think between me and you, the fact that you compared him to George Lopez in that movie, now I see it and I can't stop seeing it.
Yeah, dude, as soon as I saw it, as soon as that little like mask thing came off, I was like, what the fuck is this?
I think that they did a good job the way that he looked. Because if you see him he looks goofy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, they changed his backstory, but I think that it's hard to do a character that looks like that in any good way.
Yeah. I mean,
and I think
that could be it.
They did an okay job.
I just
as far as like the most effective killing machine and all that BS, I thought it was awful. But the way that he looked, I thought that it was appropriate.
I think that's what like made me even more irritated with the way he looked. It was like, oh, it's the Manhunter, the machine, not human, not this. Like, it was all hyped up. And
he was hyped up to be like, you didn't know who he was initially, and you're like, oh, they're bringing the hunter, and you're expecting like a John Wick badass type thing, and then they make him like a goofy, big. I mean, he had a big head, and you can't help that, but then he's just like a goofy character, and what he says is goofy, and it's just like it kind of takes away from his charisma.
It does. It really did. His lines were trash. Just the way it was written out, and like back to the whole thing with him and Cassie, like their little fight, and in the very end when trying to like fight himself away from the ants, he has like that shield up, and then he comes in, he's like, I'm not a dick.
Yeah.
Like, it just wasn't good.
And
I think I'll watch Thor: Love and Thunder before I watch this again.
Jeez. That's really saying something. That really is, because that was one of the worst pieces of anything I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I think that too, but Thor's a more enjoyable character to me than Ant-Man. That's really like one of the reasons why I never really cared for the first two Ant-Mans. Like, I don't care for Ant-Man. It's not someone I really want to see.
Yeah, I mean, Thor: The Dark World wasn't good either. The second one, it wasn't good
but
either.
It's still like,
but at least
it's Thor.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Well,
I think this one too is disappointing because it's like, okay, you know, Ant-Man's not really a big polarizing figure in the Marvel world, and this is like a big movie setting up the next phase of it.
I think that you can't judge them the same. Because Thor, when you take a look at the characters, Thor is a demigod from a different universe who is also we sound like fucking Mike Tyson, who is also in what is it? Scandinavian mythology, Viking mythology, and he has another presence. He's well known. He's a super powerful guy. Ant-Man is a character, yeah, too, but
I don't know.
He doesn't impose the same thing, and he's human. I mean, his only superpower is that he can talk to, like, coordinate with ants, and that he has a suit, basically like a Walmart brand Iron Man.
I think
you can't compare the two.
I think they just left so much on the table with it. Like, it could have been such a great film. Like, it just could have been so good. I just felt like there's so much left there.
Well, apart from Kang, if Paul Rudd wasn't, he plays in a fantastic Ant-Man. Yeah. He does an incredible job. He's an incredible actor. If it was anyone else, if it was a mid-level actor playing Ant-Man, these would be awful movies.
Yeah, no.
But the fact that Paul Rudd carries them, and he makes it interesting enough that it's worth watching. I mean, he can only do so much because he's an actor. It's like mid. I'm trying to make this a 20-minute video describing this whole thing, but you could put it into one word. It's mid.
Yeah.
It is worth watching on a Tuesday afternoon in the background while you're cleaning. Like, that's what this movie is.
I'm so glad I went during, like, the early mornings when you get, like, 25% off discount for the early morning showing. Because if I had to pay $20 to watch this movie.
I watched it on Thursday, opening day. Granted, it was in the afternoon, early morning. But the very first day this movie came out, there was 10 people in the audience.
I was pretty shocked to see how many people were in the audience. I think there was maybe like 6 or 7 of us. It was pretty empty.
And when you compare, it's like I said again, it's an unfair comparison because it has a whole franchise behind it. But when you watch a quality movie like Endgame or Infinity War, I went to the theaters 3 times to watch Infinity War, and I've seen it 4 times in theaters to watch Endgame. Like, those are good movies. Even if you're watching it at home, you're trying to find something to watch, I'll watch the entire Endgame movie from beginning to end because it is incredible. Not only everything about it, and they tied it away so well, but the writing is interesting, and what they have to say, it's like you listen and it still makes you laugh. Like watching a good a comedy special, like Dave Chappelle's first special, I know every single line that he's going to say on those specials, but it still makes me laugh. It's still good. And when you have good quality film, good quality writing, producing, directing, it makes it a worthwhile film, and you can watch it over and over again. Nobody has to watch this movie. I recommend you try it one time. If you like Marvel movies, it's worth watching just one time, especially if you want to get the grand scheme of what they're going to do in the future.
What's going on, or if you just watch every Marvel movie.
But if you're a casual watcher or moviegoer, like, you don't have to see this. It's like if you have nothing else to do, then it's okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go out of my way to put this back on film.
Don't take a date there.
No.
Because that shit was ass.
It was, like I say, it wasn't ass. It was okay.
It was an ass that's mid. I don't know. I just felt like there was so much left undone with the writing. I think that's what really bothers me about that. They just could have had so much more.
There was highlights to this movie, but it could have been better.
Like, Kang was a fantastic highlight.
Yeah.
Great. Phenomenal. Great. I can't wait to see what he does in the following movies.
Yes. If when Kang goes against one of the more compelling films, either it's who's still alive in
Thor, Hulk. Hulk's kind of a bitch.
Hulk is a bitch.
Yeah, there's like a whole thing behind that, but that's a different topic for another day. I've seen a lot about the Hulk stuff.
Oh, God, they took his balls and just ripped him right off.
He got neutered?
Yes. It's terrible. It's such a disgrace. If you've seen like World Breaker Hulk or like any of the comics, like he is the very first Hulk film that before
the 03
with
Hulk,
Edward Norton.
Yeah.
Dude, he is a badass.
Demon.
Even if the film isn't like up to par with like Iron Man or something that sets off an incredible. I still like watching that movie, and like him as a character is just. Can you see that Hulk fighting Thanos? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But now you have this like, and I understand the background. Like, they have, I think it's Gray Hulk that they were trying to compare it to, where he's, you know, half Banner and half Hulk, so he's this menacing thing. But it's just like he's a big dude now. He's basically like a superhuman that's big. Yeah. That's it. He ruined him. I don't know what they're gonna do to get it back, but like every single movie, he just got a little more beta and a little more beta, and now he's just like, okay, I'm Hulk, and I'm smart, and I'm kind of strong, and I'm a little big. That's me.
A little big.
It's a disgrace. It's terrible.
It's interesting to see like what they're gonna do.
Gotta do something
with the movies now. Now that there's no more Chris Evans or Robert Downey.
Yeah, I mean the main cast, and they're trying to do this whole Young Avengers thing with all the new people that they've introduced, and like you said, it's like they're going towards less serious mood to more kid friendly. So they're introducing all these younger characters and stuff like that. But it's
which is fine, but like you got to make it
interesting.
Good. Yeah.
It's like, not.
Yeah, no, it was just like there's like a lot of funny parts, which is fine. Like I'm cool with having funny things in a movie, but you got to give me something to be like, holy shit, like I'm so excited for the next phase of Marvel. This is going to be awesome. Like Kang was awesome. I can't wait to see what he does, but it's also, are all the movies going to be? Because they've been kind of trending in this direction.
Yeah, because it's a wider audience. So you have, whenever it's like a rated R film like Deadpool, there's only, so now you're saying that unless you're accompanied by an adult or your parent or something, that only adults can watch this movie. So the amount of money that they'll make is less.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It makes a better film because anything from the comics, like it's a gory, interesting, you can do more and it can be more realistic because life isn't PG-13 rated G.
But even at that, I feel like this is a very light PG-13. Like this is PG-13. Like if PG was right here, and then PG-13 was like right here, they hit right here, like right above it.
They can take out the cuss words and switch them out, and this could be, I mean, they don't show blood, they don't show nudity. It could be a kids film.
Yeah, it could be a PG film.
Yeah, and it's awful because that's not. If you look at the seriousness and the tone when they first started with the Avengers movies, and bringing it to Love or Thor: Love and Thunder, and then this movie and all the shows, you can just tell that they're on a downward slope. Yeah. And it's sad because there's no competition. DC's fucking in shambles.
Oh god, that's a whole.
So it's not like you.
That's another video.
Yeah.
Because I got a lot to say about DC.
6.3 out of 10. What do you give it?
6.
6. Yeah.
It's a 6.
It's a 6. The little figure with the holes. He was funny.
That's another highlight of the movie.
Yeah.
He was like, "Do you have 7 holes?"
I was like counting. I was like, "Does he have 7 holes?" So that's gonna be our movie review for today, guys. Ant-Man, Quantumania, 6.3 out of 5 for me, 6 for Eli. If you guys disagree with us, let us know. Tell me why it's the best movie ever made in the comments.
Tell me
below.
why it's worse. Because if you disagree with higher than a 6, we have issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I kind of want to fight you.
That's gonna be it, guys. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Peace.